So welcome to the first lecture on the introduction of machine learning. My name is Professor Elmar Rückert. I am the head of the chair of cyber physical systems. Here at the university, we call our institutes chairs. So therefore, it's a bit complicated with the chair of the chair. So it's the head of the chair in English. I'm here since 2021. Prior to that, I was for 7 years in Germany. I was teaching in Darmstadt at the Technical University Darmstadt for 4 years. And afterwards, I was teaching for 3 years in Lübeck, University Lübeck. I studied in Graz, telematics, and did my PhD also in Graz in computational neuroscience. Robotics, machine learning was my topic, more or less a combination. And what I liked was that our goal was to understand nature, to develop new machine learning algorithms such that machines like this humanoid system can learn like we can learn. So now I'm happy that so many students are interested in machine learning. This is the first course on machine learning that we have here at this university. It's really an introductory course. Today, I would like to present our chair, what we are doing, which courses we offer, because you might be interested in more advanced machine learning courses, where you can find information. This is the most important part. And in the end, how do we grade this course? What are the minimum requirements to pass this course? In the end, to get the certificate at the end. Slides, like the slides from today, are online. You find all information on our website. The website is called, I'll show it to you, cps.unileoben.ac.at. So this is the only thing you need to remember for today, actually. Once you remember this domain, you will find all information, all links. For instance, here you see Introduction to Machine Learning course. Here you immediately find the course description. There's a link to a book on this course. So there is a script. The script is not complete yet. It could deserve some more description. It's a bit brief. So for the beginning, it might be not enough. If you want to learn everything about machine learning, you start from scratch. Here, I highly recommend 2 books. The first one is in German, Wie Maschinen lernen. It was written by colleagues from the TU Darmstadt. And we have several copies at the library. The second one, here we also have several copies at the library, is called Probabilistic Machine Learning for Civil Engineers. These books are linked anyways in the slides. You find them. This one is a very nice introduction to machine learning, written for engineers, civil engineers. So it does not assume strong mathematical background skills. So please interrupt me whenever you want. Feel free to ask questions. Today we have a very relaxed program. I won't present any course materials, content, no math, nothing today. Normally in my lectures, it's a mix between slides, blackboard, content where we derive something together, where we really draw something together, discuss things, or some computer programs with live demos. That's one of the reasons why I need my own PC. Who knows the chair of cyber physical system? Some of you know us. Well, once a year, we have Open Lab Days where we present our research. I skipped the sound, the audio signal. We don't need that. But here you get an impression what we are doing. That was when we were back in the old building. This is one of our systems, a lagged system with multiple sensors mounted to it. We have industrial projects that are interesting where we try to detect copper in metal scrap or categorize rock materials. Here you see a self-made humanoid hand with 5 fingers. That was a project of 2 mechanical engineering students. So here you see different manipulators. You see in the background the self-learning system that learned to play Super Mario simply from reward signals. Here you see manipulation tasks, pick and place tasks with a teleoperated system. And that's part of our research. My students sometimes they also do funny things. Typically close to Christmas, they start to be creative and they use all our platforms that we have to record a video.
Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, próspero año y felicidad. Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, próspero año y felicidad. Wish you a Merry Christmas. I wish you a Merry Christmas. I wish you a Merry Christmas. Oh, Mama. I wish you a Merry Christmas. I wish you a Merry Christmas. I wish you a Merry Christmas. Oh, Mama. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Año y felicidad. Wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. Wish you a Merry Christmas.
So that's what we are doing. In the end, you're playing around with complex systems to explore which methods learn best. If you want to do something with us together, feel free to join us just opposite to this building. The white one, it's not yellow as shown here. This new Center for Digitalization or Haus der Digitalisierung, it's called in German, is the white building over there. We are in the 1st and 2nd floor. Our doors are open. Just come and visit us whenever you have questions or you want to do something with us together. Here's the address again, and that's how it looks like. And this is our team. Actually, I started alone in 21, and now we are about 13, 15 people. And we have 2 senior researchers that built up their own team now. One is working in perception and manipulation. So this is the intersection between the robotics world and also the machine learning computer vision world, where you use cameras to process data to actually do something. That's Christian. And the second senior researcher is Ozan. Ozan is working on the fundamentals of machine learning. That's quite interesting here. He's not interested in any particular application. like robotics or industrial tasks. For him, the crucial questions are, how can we learn things? How can we unlearn things? Whenever you train a machine learning method and I tell you afterwards, well, you used my private data, remove it, then and prove it that you removed it, then you need some tools to do that or some particular methods. And he's investigating how you can prove that you can unlearn something. How can you prove that you did not use a certain image for training your model? The naive approach would be that you throw away your model, delete it completely, and start from scratch. But for foundation models, like large language models, that would mean that you need billions of data samples again, and you need to train your model for months. So, and here, research, fundamental research in machine learning is essential. You might get in contact with our two secretaries. For teaching, Eva Andersson is responsible. For this course, this slide is important. You will be able to use a Moodle course platform where you have a forum where you can interact with each other. You can ask questions, you can answer questions of your colleagues. These forums might be moderated by Julia Schmelz. She is employed by the chair. She is our student assistant and is supporting me in the exercises. Whenever you get in contact with us, you might use this email address or you directly write Eva Andersson an email. One of the things you will do is you will create an account at our chair. We will do that together on the 14th of March in the first exercise session that we have. But you can also do that already at home. You just need to click on the link, create an account, and then you will have access to our services. You will have access to Jupyter Hub, which is a very nice online service for you to program. You don't need to install anything on your laptop, on your PC. You just click on a link and then you will have a browser window where you can program. Now this is the link to the website, and now I would like to present some research topics that we are working on. I divided it into 4 topics on this slide. We are working on generative AI systems like foundation models, like large language models. We are actually developing a university guide that should travel around and interact with people. You should be able to ask this system, where do I find lecture room 1 in the study support center? What can I study at this university here? Where do I find the president of the university? Something like that. Second big topic at the chair are autonomous systems. Here we have many lagged systems, but also mobile platforms. And it's a lot about creating maps of the environment, identifying issues in the environment, annotating the environment. Then you have seen many manipulators, these robotic arms with 6 or 7 degrees of freedom. We have at the moment, I think, 6 robotic hands. We have 5-fingered hands, we have 4-fingered hands, we have 2-finger hands at our chair. Many things we buy, some things we build ourselves. Really depends. We have different augmented virtual reality systems. So if you want to work with such devices, visit us. And finally, we also have many industrial projects where we actually try to improve the recycling of metal scrap, the recycling of fabrics, textiles, t-shirts in our household waste. Together with the big company Saubermacher, we have projects where the idea is that we use these manipulators, these hands and everything to recycle things that should not be in our trash. And there are many, many more projects. I'm not sure if all the videos will work. These are past projects. Some project that I did during my PhD. This was during my PhD. That was funny. This is a simulation of a humanoid, or of a human subject actually, without hands, just the two legs and the torso, no head, no arms. And the goal was to learn how to walk. And initially, the reward was defined in such a way by myself that the faster and the longer the system walked, the higher the score is. Now, my simulation was self-made, was not optimal. The first strategy that the agent here learned was to fall down, to hang down backward, and to walk like that backward. Because then gravity had no effect and the system could not fall down anymore. It was hanging on a rope more or less and was walking backwards. Yeah, that was my PhD. Nowadays, we have way more complex and sophisticated simulations. Here, this is also an interesting study that was done by my PhD student, Daniel Tanneberg in Darmstadt. He's now at Honda Research. And in his research here, he used a spiking neural network to generate such behavior. And these spiking neural networks are quite interesting because they mimic actually pretty well how human brains actually communicate signals, human neurons, in the human brain. The tricky part is that these spiking neural networks are super noisy, and generating solid, smooth trajectories is pretty challenging. And here we achieved that in this study. Now, our webpage is a big source for you of information. You find there source code, software, videos, articles, descriptions of Git projects, everything. You find there wiki pages that are public for students, how to write papers and other things. You find there as well some templates. If you need to write a bachelor thesis, master thesis at a different chair, no problem. You can use our LaTeX template. Or if you need to write a report or you want to prepare a proper, well-defined presentation using LaTeX Beamer, find templates for that on our page. So here are some hardware components. Every few months, there's some new team member joining us. Now the next one will be a two-legged system. So this is currently not activated. In the past, I uploaded all events to our webpage such that you could click on these events and then you would see all our courses that are being given by me and my colleagues this week or this month. I have not done that yet. I'm not sure if that is so important. This is more important. Here you find the resources for students. This bachelor thesis, master thesis. Well, regarding theses, if you go to our webpage to teaching, you find the PDF files of past master and bachelor theses. That might help you, because if you never wrote a thesis yourself and you want to know how to write an Outlook paragraph, the best thing is to look at other works. And we try to upload everything from what we produce. And that's how it looks. That are the past lectures, yeah. Here you find our course description. Here you see some open student projects. And that's how this list looks for past bachelor and master theses. And if you click on one of these items, you will find a link to the PDF. Not all master theses and bachelor theses are uploaded. Some of them are have restricted access because they were made with some companies in cooperation. Yeah, but what you will learn is that the structure of these systems is always the same. What might be interesting as well is at our chair, all theses are written in English. So if you prefer to write a thesis in German, then this is difficult with us because our chairs pretty international, and most of our staff members, they don't speak German. Okay, so what can you learn in this particular course? This course is about machine learning, and machine learning is about using data to learn algorithms. And here it's defined as being part of AI. Artificial intelligence is the big thing, and machine learning is a small component of it. And deep learning is even smaller because it's part of machine learning. Deep learning means that you have a neural network with many, many layers. This is one particular approach of machine learning, but there are many more, like decision trees, other approaches, expert systems. These are all machine learning approaches, but neural networks and deep neural networks is a very small fraction of it. Now, here's a nice definition of AI. I like it a lot. So AI are algorithms for problem solving, inference, and learning. And what is an algorithm? Well, that's something you have learned already, sequence of instructions that transform some input into some output. But AI is really about implementing problem solving, inference, and learning. And if you would like to have a more organized scheme of what we do in machine learning, well, we are using data to train models, in the end, to make predictions. And these predictions are used to answer some questions, like, will it rain tomorrow? Is this a cat? Is this a cow in the image? These are typical questions that you answer. Now, common misunderstanding is that, well, if I watch some YouTube videos, then I'm a machine learning expert, or I just need to understand how to load my data into some code environment using TensorFlow or something, and then it's done. I disagree here with this argument because you need a more thorough understanding of machine learning. If you want to process data and use it to answer questions, you need also to have some basic understanding how the data was generated. And this is called domain expertise, yeah? Because one thing that you will learn very soon is that you need to understand that the data is always just a small piece and a small picture, a small component of the whole picture. And if your data is not representative, so you want to predict if it's raining tomorrow, but you have data from only 3 days of the past, of the weather, then this is very unlikely that your model will be very strong. So that is the data representative issue. The other thing is if the data is balanced or not. Who knows what does it mean? A balanced data set. Any idea? Think about a classification problem. Classification problem where you try to distinguish between different animals, cats, cows, dogs. Exactly. Yeah. And typically, most of the machine learning problems you won't have balanced data. This is a very common issue that you will face. You will have outliers. So here I'm talking about the challenges in machine learning. And in this course, we will talk about how to overcome these challenges. We'll have inhomogeneous noise. What could that be? Yes, but inhomogeneous means something more complicated. Noise means, well, all your data is affected by something that does not convey any information. Inhomogeneous means the noise level depends on other factors. For instance, on the space of or on the date of your measurement. If you would know that, you could take that into account, you can improve your model. Now, machine learning fundamentals are needed to understand, visualize, and interpret the data, to pre-process the data, to create balanced training and data sets, to analyze the complexity of your problem, and to select the right model in the end. So it's not just enough to use some coding environment, import the data, say, okay, now I use a neural network, it will work. I'm pretty sure it will work. You need to understand how can you prepare your data such that your predictions are useful, that you will convince your boss or yourself that whatever the AI model is now generating is useful. And we need some statistic fundamentals for that. And that's the reason why machine learning requires strong mathematical statistical skills. And that's something that you will find out during this course. We will recap many statistic basics, mathematical basics. I will repeat and recap these things. I will produce these results on the blackboard with you together. But you will find out that this is one requirement for this course. Basic analytics, basic statistics. So here, typical machine learning examples. There, machine learning is used for almost everything nowadays. Everybody of you, you have your AI with you in your smartphone nowadays. People get used to use such algorithms. We use it for automatic language translation, for speech recognition. We use it on a daily basis nowadays. In this course, you will learn how to develop such algorithms yourself. But it's an introduction course to machine learning, so I won't teach you how to implement large language models. I will teach you the basics of supervised machine learning approaches, regression approaches, classification approaches, where you make predictions to answer some questions. For these advanced topics, there are different courses. Now, if we look at the content of this course, we can look at the content of the script that is online. And there is some introduction part, an introduction to machine learning, and an introduction to some statistics, probability theory. We will briefly go over these two introductory chapters, and then we will discuss probabilistic regression approaches. Because classical linear regression is something that you might know already. These probabilistic approaches have the benefit that you can also make statements about the noise and about the quality of your model. But linear models are limited. With linear models, you might make good prediction for simple problems. If you have a complex problem, then you need something more advanced. And here I will present some state-of-the-art regression approaches like Gaussian processes, or even Markov models. I will skip. I will present probabilistic time series models, and I will also briefly discuss self-learning algorithms, Bayesian optimization algorithms. So in the end, you will learn how to use these fundamental machine learning approaches. After the course, you will be able actually to process your own data to make predictions, or to optimize your own model using state-of-the-art optimization algorithms. So to learn that, we have an exercise. So theory is nice, lecture is nice, you will see videos here, you will see research results, we will discuss the fundamentals, but we need to practice this. Without practice, you will not be able to understand machine learning. And these exercises, they require some coding. So before, for the exercise, well, we have on Friday On Fridays, we have exercise events. Also, these Friday events will be recorded. I will talk about the exercise separately. First of all, I would like to tell you, how do you get the certificate? The grading. So this is really important. There's a lecture part. That's what we are doing today. And this lecture part is very important. It has 100 points out of 200. So 50% of the whole points can be obtained by writing a final written exam. This final written exam will be composed out of 4 to 5 chapters from our book with 2 to 8 questions, most of them multiple choice. There might be some images that you need to annotate. I have some examples anyways with me. You will have 90 minutes and we write the exam here. You can already now register for the exam. You don't need anything. You just need a pen. Here are the dates. So there's the first date is the 18th of June. That's during the normal lecture time. Then there's one date at the beginning of the vacation period, 2nd of July. And also after the vacation period, I typically have a third exam for you. So you can pick whatever fits you best. What is special about these courses, typically I have at the beginning, I do a small recap of the last lecture, and I'm doing that in a way where I present some quiz to you. A quiz with a QR code, you log in with your smartphone. You don't need to log in, you just attend or process the quiz question using your smartphone. And if you answer all these questions right, you will get bonus points. But for that, you need to be here in person. Other than that, you don't need to be here in the classroom. It's okay if you just write the final exam. You can pass this course. So, well, this is about the quiz. How do I collect these bonus points? Well, I trust you. I will give around student lists and you will simply mark where if you have a bonus point or not for a particular event. That's what we are doing. Oops. Now, to the exercise. The exercise is composed of 2 things. The first thing is a programming exam where we in the computer room will prepare some programming exam for you. And this exam has 50 points. You need to attend this exam to pass this course. This is really important. You will process some questions using Jupyter, a Jupyter notebook, and you will answer these questions in Moodle. You will also immediately receive your grade. Right after the exam, you get your results. The date is already fixed. So this is something where you need to attend. There's no way to do something else like that. If you're sick, you need to show us a doctoral certificate, and then we try to find a solution. But this is a thing that we really request. You need to attend this exam. If you don't attend this exam, then you have to come again next year. Good. Then there are 50 points missing, and these 50 points are now obtained via programming assignments that you can do offline at home, wherever you want. The first one is an obligatory assignment where you get bonus points. This is just an introduction to Python Jupyter. Who knows Python and is skilled in Python enough? And some of you. For you, this first assignment will be super easy. You can also skip the first exercise on the 14th of March. This will be boring for you. You can create your Jupyter Hub account yourself, clicking on the link. It's fine. You don't need to attend. So this is just to get started. The thing is, many people do the first machine learning course at this university, and they never programmed before. So they need to catch up. And we try to solve that with some introductory tutorials where we will give you a very brief tutorial into programming in our exercise. Then there are 4 programming assignments. The first one has 5 points. The second one has 10 points. Assignment number 4 is 15 points, and the last one has 20 points. So in total, 50. What is really important, these dates, here we present it. You don't need to attend the presentation. What you need to do is you need to submit it by these dates here. And you need to submit all assignments. If you skip one, you have to come again next year. There's no exception. You have to submit. If you're sick, you're sick. You have 1 or 2 weeks time to prepare your assignment. You can do that at home, but you have to submit it. Submission will be done via Moodle. Well, in these tutorials, whenever I present a new assignment, prior to that, I also present the results of the last one, common mistakes, how to improve it, to give you some feedback, to learn something. So it's worth attending these exercises as well. But this is the most important message. You need to submit all these 4 mandatory assignments. You can skip the bonus point assignment, no problem, but the other 4 you have to submit. And I think 4 assignments is also doable for a machine learning course. Are there any questions to this point? I have a summary slide on the next one is a summary slide. Yeah. Yes, you have seen everything. The exam is at the end of the course. I have one slide with all the dates. This course is organized in such a way that 2 weeks prior to the end of the semester, you are done. And it's also organized in such a way that you can evaluate this course and you have your grade. So also the grading, everything can be evaluated by you. Here's the summary. In total, there are 100 points for the written exam, 50 for the programming exam, 50 for the assignments. There are bonus points. There are minimum requirements. For the written exam, you need to pass at least half of it. Same for the programming exam. And you have to submit all 4 assignments. Also here, submitting an empty assignment won't help you. Well, at least on average, you need to have at least 50% of the points for the assignments. Here you see the dates of the first written exam and the date of the computer exam. I think this is one of the most important slides here. This should be pretty clear to everybody. Otherwise, we will meet again in 1 year. I would try to avoid that. I tell you, this looks challenging and there are many mandatory things. On the other hand, we have just 4 assignments. Everything is based on browser-based services using Jupyter Hub. You don't need to install anything. You will be guided through these assignments. And also the written exam is prepared in such a way that at least 50% of all questions are simple, basic understanding questions, multiple choice questions. Which types of machine learning approaches do you know in principle? And then you have to check supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning. These are basic questions that are not so challenging. Okay, there are no questions to that point. Perfect. Well, if you're afraid, look at our statistics. You find on this page here statistics for all our courses on the grades, and then you will also be more relaxed. On the other hand, without learning and without attending and without doing anything, you won't pass. What are typical exam questions? This is now for the written exam. Here you see a figure showing 4 Gaussian distributions, and the question is, well, can you assign the function letter to these columns? For instance, here mu denotes the mean, the center of these Gaussian bumps, and sigma the standard deviation. And if you see there are 2 with a Gaussian mean of 3, so it must be either the red curve or the magenta curve here for these 2. One has a very high standard deviation, this one. So this is the broader Gaussian function. So you would put a B into the second column. And this is considered as a, I don't know it. Normally we have these dots here. If there's 1 dot, then it's a simple question. If there are 2 dots, then it's a medium question, medium hard. And if there are 3 dots, then I consider it as challenging. And 3 dots we have rarely in the exam, but there are such questions. Let's have a look. This is another simple question, which is also pretty common, where I ask you, please illustrate overfitting, illustrate underfitting, and an optimal fit. If you have these data points here and you want to now sketch a line here, a model that would model these points. And overfitting would simply overshoot and pass through all these points. An underfit would be a straight line that would not explain the data very well. That's underfitting. And the optimal fit would be a nice bell-shaped curve here. So now, what could be a more challenging question? Okay, derive the least square solution for this model. So you have given this mathematical model here, and you have an objective. So you want to minimize the Euclidean norm here, the error, and you have this regularization term here in addition. Now, this is a bit tough. I can tell you that you can pass this course without being able to answer this question. That's doable. But if you want to get a 1 or a 2, then you should be able to derive such things. And if you see yourself in the future working in machine learning on the fundamentals, then you should be able to do that. Oh, here's another mathematical question about Gaussian distributions. I skipped that now for the moment. What I wanted to present here are the dates. We just started today. Today, as promised, no content, just the organizational things. And we will meet on Wednesdays, typically. Whenever there is something, a conflict or something, I will communicate that in time via MO Online. So it's essential that you are registered for this course if you want to be updated and informed. On Fridays, we meet in lecture room 2, one floor up, and there I will present hands-on how to use Jupyter Hub and Jupyter Notebooks on the 4 so everybody who knows that can skip it. Then there is a Python programming exam introduction. So also this event can be skipped by people that know Python already. Simply skip it. I will also record these sessions, put it online so you can have a look afterwards. For me, it's not important that you are in person in the room at every event. For me, it's important that you learn something and that you have access to all the information that you need and that you can interact with me and ask questions. What is interesting here is that we will start with some basics, fundamentals, machine learning fundamentals at the beginning. I will present what is a heavy tail property, what is the no-free lunch theorem, what is overfitting, underfitting, all these things will be presented at the beginning. Then We will have some second event where we talk about what are probabilities, what is a Gaussian distribution and such things, the basics. Yeah. And then we will quickly start deriving our first machine learning methods to explain data. And we start with the most simple one, which is linear regression. And we will learn how to derive the model equation ourselves. Afterwards, we will make it more complex and we talk about probabilistic approaches, about feature regression and distance measures. Yeah. And in the end, we will converge to nonlinear approaches where we use Gaussian processes. So these are interesting nonlinear approaches. And we will also use these Gaussian processes for time series data to generate complex behavior like the behavior of some manipulators that need to dress something. You can do that afterwards. Here we'll present Bayesian optimization. And in the end, there will be exam preparation day. Where is that? Here on the 11th of June. I will present again how I will ask questions, how to prepare for the course. We will do that on the 11th, such that you're well prepared for the exam on the 18th. The course evaluation will also start right at the day of the exam, and you will have 1 week. And I will discuss also your feedback with you in the last event. Are there any questions to our program? Good, and I'm almost at the end. Here's a slide with links to, does not work, PDF files, online material where you can also have a look at machine learning books online. So you don't need to go to the library. You can, of course, but many, many resources are online. And if you're a big fan of video lectures, well, for machine learning, you find plenty of information. Here I add listing 2 links with high quality courses on machine learning. There are some remarks. Register for the course. The closing date is the 9th of March. For attending the quiz, you just need some smartphone, tablet, whatever, laptop. This is important. And well, for the written exam, you will need some basic calculus skills, simple differential equation, vector calculus, matrices, basic statistics. Yeah, it's part of machine learning. You need that fundamentals. It's also written in the M online course description that this statistics is a prerequisite for this course. Programming experience can help, but we'll also learn it during this course. Yeah, if you're looking for a student assistant position, well, we have positions like that. Get in contact with us. For instance, for next October till end of January, I'm looking for 3 student assistants helping me for the data modeling course. Well, you are now in the 5th or 6th semester, probably. Most of you are at the end of the bachelor's, beginning of the master's, huh? Is somebody here that took the data modeling course last winter semester? No. And I gave it for the first time. It's a completely redesigned new course on data modeling where I present for first semester students how to actually look at data, how to model data in a very general conceptual way. For this course, I'm looking for student assistants. Yep, this is how a quiz will look like at the beginning of the course. So next week, I will already have prepared one of this quiz. You will see some QR code here. You can scan it. This might not work because I did not activate the quiz. It needs to be activated such that you can answer these questions. And then these are typically multiple choice questions. And you need to select, yes, this is correct or this is wrong. And this is how the list looks like. You will get a list of students. I will hand it out, and then you simply make a 1 if you get a bonus point, or 0. You leave it out. That's it. I will trust you here. That's it for the first event. Feel free to ask